Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to our third class of our new series, Life of Jesus, Community versus Solitude. Paul is going to be teaching again tonight, and he's going to be picking up. I've had a couple of little technical issues kind of leading into it, so Paul is going to join us here in just a moment. But figured we'd start on time anyway, so that we can get everything going. If you're watching, however you're watching, let us know that you're on. Throw us a comment either through our Facebook or through our YouTube link, and let us know that you're watching so that we know who you are. So we've got a few announcements first before we kind of throw it over to Paul so that he can go ahead and get the class going. So first and foremost is the Questival scavenger hunt event that we kind of teased last week. We have to postpone it. We kind of ran into some scheduling conflicts and things with some of our other co-organizers, and so we're not going to be able to do it this Saturday, which is unfortunate because it would have been a really, really cool thing to do here, kind of at the tail end of summer, right? Would have been really fun. But we will be doing it soon. So just kind of keep an eye out across all of our social media and things, and we'll be posting when we're going to be doing that and how you can participate and all of the things that we'll do with that. So apologies again that it's being postponed so kind of suddenly, but that's the nature of our time right now, right? But we do have an alternate activity that we're going to be doing. Next Friday, that's September the 4th. It's kind of open to everybody who wants to go from 4Sixteen. We're going to be going to the West Wind Drive-In Theater to go watch a movie. Now, we recognize, of course, that it's tricky to watch movies nowadays. So, whoever your bubble is that you're comfortable with, of course, you guys can go together. So obviously, like my wife and I and like my brother, we can all go together. But for the most part, since we're in the cars, we can, physically distance the appropriate way that's recommended and all of those things. And we can be safe, but we can still be together watching a movie. Now, a couple of movies have been sort of floated around. Like the sort of big one that's coming out that weekend is Christopher Nolan's Tenet. So if you are a fan of the Christopher Nolan Batman movies, like The Dark Knight, Batman Begins and those, or Inception, it's that kind of a movie. But we don't have to watch that. So we're going to be posting a poll on the Facebook page and on the Discord next Wednesday, because that's when all the movie times come out for the West Wind Drive-In. So we'll post a poll on Wednesday so that everybody can vote on what we go watch together. And if you decide you want to watch something else and you just want to be there at the same time as everybody, that's cool too. No worries. The West Wind Drive-In is in Glendale, so it's a bit of a drive, but it's not very expensive. It's like $7 a person, something like that. It's $7 a person, and depending on what we end up watching, whether it's Tenet or normally they have double features, you can get 2 whole movies for that price, which is a pretty good deal. Plus, that weekend is when it's supposed to hopefully start getting cooler, and we can actually be in a car on a parking lot watching a movie without having to run the AC the entire time. So that's a really exciting thing. We're going to be posting more details about that later on, probably by tomorrow or Friday. And then, of course, the poll will go live on next Wednesday night. That way, we can all decide what we are actually going to go watch. So that's what's going on right now. Again, sorry that we have to postpone the Questival, but I think the drive-in movie on, again, September the 4th, that's a Friday night. I think that's going to be a really fun time. And I'm going to give props to Hayden because he's the one that sort of masterminded the thing and said, hey, can we do this? I think we can do this. And I said, yes, I think we can do this. And so you guys, send him a text or something saying that's a great idea. Okay, so Paul's able to join us. Let me just grab him here. Hey, Paul, how's it going?
Okay. We'll see.
We'll see. We'll see if all the duct tape and everything holds, right?
Yeah. If it ends up being really bad, I'm fine with stopping and sending a recorded message later. We can do this.
Uh-oh. Well, if we have to record it and then just post it later, we'll do that, because that might actually end up being what we have to do.
All right.
We will figure this out. But anyway, we have one last announcement before we do this. And it's, of course, it's the survey. So last week we put out a link for the 416 sort of summer activity survey. And you can see it. It's pinned in our announcements on our Facebook page. And I just posted a reminder on our Discord. If you haven't had a chance to take the survey, it doesn't take very long to do, maybe 15 minutes of your time, but we could really, really use your feedback. There's a lot of things a lot of moving parts right now out in the world and here within our world. And we want to kind of make sense of that. And, even things like this Questival that we've had to postpone, and the drive-in movie that we're just announcing tonight. Those are all things that we would love to get input on from you. But on top of that, input on all of these classes that we've been doing. This one that Paul's been doing, like the ones that we've done in the last few months. We need to know what you're thinking, if this is even a good thing, if it's working or if it's not working, because we want to make sure that we're able to serve you the best way we can. So please take 15 minutes. It's not a long time. Do the survey for us. I think only 4 people have answered so far. If you're one of those 4, thank you. You guys are right on the ball, and we really appreciate your honest feedback. And we're definitely taking the individual and the collective feedback into deep consideration. It's very important for us. So please just take a moment and do that. That'd be really, really great. And the other final thing is that tonight we're not going to have a Zoom call after class. It's just too many technical things in a row tonight that it's just not going to happen. But we do hope to have another Zoom call next week after class. So without further ado, I'm just going to turn it over to Paul. And if it gets too garbled and if it gets too messy, I'll just pop back in and we'll cut it, and then we'll just do a recording and post it separately. All right?
That's good.
Does that work? Oh my gosh, I can't speak anymore.
Yeah, it'll work.
Anyway, I need to just be quiet and let you do your thing. So, all right, Paul, that's all yours.
Hello, everybody. Well, despite the crazy internet stuff, I'm happy to be here. And we're gonna go ahead and continue our lesson with the life of Jesus and his experience with both community and solitude. And we've taken a look at both sides of that. So tonight I want to focus on a specific topic that I think is relevant to all of us. It's your crew versus outsiders. And I just want to start out, I guess, kind of continuing my own journey from last week. I mentioned before how I did have that period where a lot of the people I did grow up with ended up either leaving the church or moving to someplace else. And it was a time where I was struggling. And during that time of struggle, I did spend some time in other communities as well. Things seemed good at first, but slowly I'd find myself dealing with a lot of manipulation, a lot of toxicity, and I ended up getting burned by a lot of people in these other communities. So after a while, I ended up walking away from those communities and once again spent full time with my high school crew. For those of you who have known me for a while, I talk about my high school crew a lot, but they've always had my back, and I love them all, and we still spend a lot of time together, and they're still people I trust to this very day. But during that time that I made this transition, I had a very guarded period, and this thought process of, I don't need a lot of friends, just a few good ones. And on one side of this, there is value to this statement. Like, you always want quality over quantity. And you never want to have a mindset of where you're making friends purely to collect people kind of thing. But there was another side of this I didn't want to admit. At this time, I was hurt by a lot of people, but there were also still very valuable people in my life who I could trust in my life. So I settled in a place of comfort. I was tired of getting hurt, and I didn't want to try to connect to new people anymore. And I think a lot of us get to this point where we do get content with our groups. And it may be from getting hurt by a lot of new people, or we just don't feel the same urgency of needing to make new friends. And on top of that, a lot of us struggle with those first encounters with social anxieties and other things. But through Jesus's entire life, he interacted with countless individuals, new and familiar. And tonight I want to read a few passages showing the value of his actions. The first passage I want to read is Luke 19, 1 through 10. Jesus entered Jericho and was passing through. A man was there by the name of Zacchaeus. He was a chief tax collector and was wealthy. He wanted to see who Jesus was, but because he was short, he could not see over the crowd. So he ran ahead and climbed a sycamore fig tree to see him, since Jesus was coming that way. When Jesus reached the spot, he looked up and said to him, "Zacchaeus, come down immediately. I must stay at your house today." So he came down at once and welcomed him gladly. All the people saw this and began to mutter, "He has gone to be the guest of a sinner." But Zacchaeus stood up and said to the Lord, "Look, Lord, here and now I give half of my possessions to the poor. And if I have cheated anybody out of anything, I will pay back 4 times the amount." Jesus said to him, "Today salvation has come to this house, because this man too is a son of Abraham. For the Son of Man came to seek and to save the lost." And then we're going to go to John 8, 1 through 11. But Jesus went to the Mount of Olives. At dawn he appeared again in the temple courts, where all the people gathered around him, and he sat down to teach them. The teachers of the law and the Pharisees brought a woman caught in adultery. They made her stand before the group and said to Jesus, "Teacher, this woman was caught in the act of adultery. And the law of Moses commanded us to stone such women. Now what do you say?" They were using this question as a trap in order to have a basis of accusing him. But Jesus bent down and started to write on the ground with his finger. When they kept on questioning him, he straightened up and said to him, "Let any one of you who is without sin be the first to throw a stone at her." Again he stooped down and wrote on the ground. At this, those who heard began to go away, one at a time, older ones first, until only Jesus was left. With the woman still standing there, Jesus straightened up and asked her, "Woman, where are they? Has no one condemned you?" "No one, sir," she said. "Then neither do I condemn you," Jesus declared. "Go now and leave your life of sin." With the one time Jesus spent with Zacchaeus, Zacchaeus turned away from his life of swindling and repaid all those who he had cheated. And with just one interaction, Jesus saved this woman's life. And look at the very last sentence. Jesus showed mercy while still telling her what was done was wrong and to leave it behind. In life, I believe that we hear truth and good information often, but sometimes things are said or done in just the right way that in that moment the message really, really resonates with us. Even if it's just that one time, your moments with an individual can have that power. Your one interaction and willingness to meet someone can lead to them getting slowly more comfortable with meeting others in your group and even helping the rest of your group connect with them. And you never know when you're really going to resonate with someone. It could be something you say that truly inspires them. It could be a bond of common interests. But it could also be a past pain you share with someone. Are we good?
I think so. I think you're back.
Okay. Okay. I'll continue. Okay. So that connection of empathy is something that can't be faked. And it's something that many will value and recognize. And there will be people who you come across from all walks of life. And there will be rougher individuals. They can be intimidating and sometimes difficult to deal with. There will be those who come with ill intentions, and we have to be wary of them. But there will be also
So we keep kind of freezing here. Sorry, everybody. So I think we're gonna just have to cut it here, and Paul will record here. Oh, there we go. So he's not just stuck there frozen. Oh. I think we're just gonna cut it here. Sorry, guys, that everything is kind of wonky tonight. What we'll do is we'll have Paul kind of record his lesson, and then we're gonna post it probably tomorrow. So again, apologies to everybody. Just again, a couple reminders that we had to postpone the Questival scavenger hunt. We will be posting details about our time at the drive-in movie theater, and there's no Zoom call tonight because, as you can see, we can barely hold the ship together. So let's not push our abilities here. And of course, the survey. So if you're watching with us right now and you haven't done your survey, you have some time that you would have ordinarily spent watching us. Please take a moment and do the survey. Again, it's available on the Facebook page and on the Discord. Those links are kind of pinned at the top there. And you'll be able to see Paul's part 3 lesson soon. Again, we love you guys. Thank you for watching. Again, we're sorry that it kind of the broadcast fell apart tonight. But, technology is what technology does. Have a good night, everybody, and we'll see you next week.